She just wants to be the pretty angel, and she gets disappointed in her part. And actually, now that same daughter, she's doing a 4th grade Christmas play, and she did get the speaking part that she really wanted, but not
What?
everyone did, so there's a lot of opportunities for our kids to be disappointed. And sometimes it's about things like the Christmas play, and then sometimes it's the general disappointment, like not making the team or being left out or something. And kids, no matter how wonderful they are, they just don't fully understand what that process looks like. And when it comes to Christmas disappointments, they don't understand budgets and supply chain issues. They don't get the
Yeah,
gifts they wanted. So,
absolutely. I remember when Christian turned 5, when our son turned 5, we were having a birthday party at the house and invited his whole class over. And I'd said to him before the party, now, people will probably bring you a gift, Christian, and some of them might be something that you already have, or some of them might be something that you really didn't want, but you need to remember it's coming from their heart and to be very grateful. So when it was time to open all the gifts, he opened the first one and it was something he had, but he said to the little boy, I love this, it's perfect. And the next gift was something he'd said to me, Mom, don't get me that because I don't like that. And that's what it was. And he was like, this is perfect. And then he
oh,
came over to me and whispered in my ear, how am I doing? How am I doing, Mom? And I think from an early age, we have to teach children how to deal with things not going exactly as they wish it would, because that's life.
yeah. And that's hard. And it continues to be hard, even as adults, too. I thought it was a great
Yeah.
way to handle the disappointment. And how can parents take it like a step further, maybe, and kind of remind them like things might not go the way that you hope, but like there is one thing that's steady in all of this, and that's God's love and my love for you too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the most important thing toward the end of the book for her to understand that it's the whole point of Christmas wasn't that she got to be the star of the show. The whole point of Christmas was that God was willing to come as a tiny baby. I mean, God with
Mm.
a shoe size. Who could even imagine such a thing? Ever since Christian, we only have, as I said, one son, but ever since he's been little, it's something that we've talked about. How do we keep an awareness of that in the midst of all the kind of social pressure and Black Friday sales and everything else that goes on around this time of year?
Yeah. How do we do that? Because it is this time of year you have all the not even materialism, because I think someone told me once our world isn't materialistic, we're consumeristic. Because if we were materialistic, we would value materials and we really just value consuming them. Like we really just want to buy
Wow.
something and then the next thing. Like that's what we do. And that's so evident at this time of year and really all the time, especially in 2025, like parenting today with social media and everything. There's so much of a need for the next thing. And then there's so much pressure for performance and being the best at everything, not just one thing, but everything. So how do we do that?
Yeah, it's so funny because my son is a bit of a perfectionist. He's always been like he's hard on himself, and his dad's a bit of a perfectionist too. And so I've always tried to kind of find some kind of balance in there. But I remember once he came home with a report card from school, and it was all A's apart from one B. He got a B, and I don't even remember what it was. And he was so, that's all he saw. All he saw was,
Mm.
here's where I wasn't perfect. And so what I did was I dragged a chair into the middle of the kitchen and I said, okay, I need you to sit there. And then I went upstairs to this box of clothes that we use for dressing up in parties and stuff. And I came back down with a feather boa and a crown and a trumpet and marched around him. And I said, you get to choose, Christian, in life. You can sit here thinking, oh no, I got a B, or you can celebrate the fact that you got all the rest were A's. So it's hard, but I think we have to understand our children because they're all so different. Some
Yeah.
kids would have been thrilled by that, but he saw where he failed, and I want him to see where he shines.
How did he handle that? Was he like, "Mom," or
He was like,
did he
yeah,
see the picture?
he was like, okay, I get the point, but this is so embarrassing. Please put the trumpet away.
And you're like, "I'm your mom. This is my job."
Yeah.
I think that Christmas is such like a natural opportunity to take all those conversations to the next level a little bit, to talk about God's love that came down to earth, that, it feels so abstract, but it was so tangible in this tiny little baby. I love that you said God with a shoe size. That's a good way to think about it.